The stars shone brightly over Earth, but none compared to the light from the distant galaxy known as Virelia. In that galaxy ruled the powerful cosmic queen Zyra. She was famous for her strength and her fierce love for her only daughter, Princess Leora. Captain Elias Voss stood on the bridge of the starship Endeavour. The ship was Earth's first official mission to the galaxy of Virelia. Elias was a tall man with sharp eyes and a calm smile. He was chosen to represent Earth at a great cosmic meeting where many alien races would come together. The goal was to stop a war that could destroy many worlds. The invitation had arrived suddenly. A golden message appeared on Earth's communication system. It was from Queen Zyra herself. Her words were clear and full of power. Captain Elias Voss, you are invited to the Summit of Stars on the planet Virelia Prime. Your presence is required to discuss the future of our galaxy. Elias read the message twice. It was an honor and a risk. No human had ever been invited to this summit before. Earth was still young among the stars, and the alien empires saw humans as wild and unpredictable. But Elias was ready. Prepare the ship, he said to his crew. We leave for Virelia Prime. The journey through space was long, but Elias used the time well. He studied the customs of the Virelians and their politics. He knew the queen was a proud ruler who protected her daughter fiercely. Any mistake could lead to disaster. Finally, the Endeavour arrived at Virelia Prime. The planet was a shining jewel in space. Its cities were made of crystal towers that glowed in many colors. Spaceships of many shapes and sizes moved through the sky. Elias's ship landed smoothly on a platform near the royal palace. As he stepped out, he felt the weight of many eyes watching him. Aliens from different planets gathered to see the human ambassador. A group of royal guards approached. They were tall and wore shining armor that reflected the sunlight. Their leader, a man named Torin, bowed deeply to Elias. Welcome, Captain Voss, Torin said. Queen Zyra awaits you in the Hall of Light. Elias followed the guards through grand halls filled with strange statues and glowing art. The air smelled of flowers and something like warm metal. When they reached the throne room, Elias stopped and took a deep breath. Queen Zyra sat on her throne at the far end of the room. She was taller than any human, with skin that shimmered like silver and eyes as deep as the galaxy. Her voice was strong and clear when she spoke. Captain Elias Voss of Earth, she said, you have crossed the stars to stand before me. You come with news of peace or war? Elias stepped forward, bowing slightly. Your Majesty, I come with the hope of peace. Earth wishes to join the Cosmic Alliance to protect all worlds from destruction. The Queen studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. Words are easy. Actions are harder. At that moment, Princess Leora entered the room. She was young, but her presence was powerful. She moved with grace and wore a dress made of light that seemed to flow around her like water. Leora looked at Elias with curiosity. Is this the human who dares to enter our realm? She asked softly. Elias smiled politely. Yes, Princess Leora, I am honored to meet you. The Queen's eyes narrowed. You must show respect to my daughter. She is not a prize to be bargained or a simple messenger to be ignored. Elias understood the warning. He knew that any wrong move could offend the Queen or the princess. But as he spoke, a sudden noise distracted everyone. A small mechanical device slipped from his pocket and fell to the ground with a soft clink. The device opened and showed a tiny hologram. A picture of Elias's family on Earth, smiling and waving. The Queen's guards gasped and the princess's eyes flashed. Is that a toy? The Queen asked, her voice sharp. It is a family memory, Elias explained quickly. A reminder of why I fight for peace. The Queen stared at him for a long time, then laughed, a sound that echoed like thunder. You dare to carry such a thing in the presence of the Cosmic Queen? You dare to undress my daughter's honor with such childishness? The court fell silent. The Queen's words were like a storm, challenging Elias openly. Elias met her gaze steadily. Then, with a quiet confidence, he gave her a wink. The room gasped. No one had ever dared to respond to the Queen like that. Not with a wink, not with a smile. The Queen's face changed. Her anger softened into something like surprise and maybe even respect. Very well, Captain, she said. You have spirit. But spirit alone will not save you here. She stood, her silver armor gleaming. You will face the trial of shadows, a test that strips away pride and fear. Only then will you prove your worth. Elias nodded. I accept your challenge, Your Majesty. Princess Leora stepped forward, her eyes softer now. The trial is difficult, Captain, but it reveals the truth about those who enter. Elias felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, humans had a chance to show their true strength. Not with weapons, but with heart. As he left the throne room to prepare for the trial, Elias looked back at the Queen and Princess. He knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's fate was about to be decided. Captain Elias Voss stood quietly in the large chamber next to the throne room. The walls glowed softly with blue light, casting strange shadows that flickered like living things. Outside, the sounds of the royal court buzzed faintly, but inside this quiet place only his thoughts remained loud. The challenge from Queen Zira was clear. Elias would face the trial of shadows. This was a test not of strength but of spirit. It was a challenge no outsider had ever faced and returned from the same. It was said the trial could break the strongest minds or reveal the deepest truths hidden inside a soul. Elias took a deep breath. He felt calm, even though the weight of the galaxy's eyes pressed on him. He was a human, a species known for their unpredictability. But in moments like this, humans had a special power, hope. The door to the chamber opened suddenly. Torin, the captain of the Queen's Guard, stepped inside. "Captain," Torin said with a serious face, "the trial begins soon. You will be taken to the Temple of Shadows." "Prepare yourself," Elias nodded. "Thank you, Torin. I am ready." Torin's eyes flicked to the small hologram device still clipped to Elias's belt. The picture of his family, smiling brightly. "You carry your world with you," Torin said quietly. "Yes," Elias replied, "because peace is worth fighting for." They walked through long corridors until they reached a giant door carved from black stone. Symbols of stars and shadows were etched into its surface. The door slowly opened, revealing a dark passage that led deep into the heart of Virelia Prime. As Elias stepped inside, the air grew cooler and the light dimmed. The shadows seemed to move and twist around him. He felt a strange energy here, a mixture of fear and power. Suddenly, the passage ended in a vast chamber filled with mirrors. They stretched from floor to ceiling, reflecting Elias's image in countless ways. In the center of the chamber, a figure appeared. It was neither fully light nor shadow, but something between, an ancient being called the Shadow Keeper. "You stand before the trial of shadows," the being said, voice echoing like wind through a canyon. "Here, your spirit will be tested. Your fears, your hopes, your true self. Only those who face themselves without fear may pass." Elias bowed respectfully. "I understand." The Shadow Keeper raised a hand and the mirrors shimmered. Suddenly, Elias found himself inside a vision, a memory that was not his own. He stood on a battlefield, where strange machines fired glowing beams. Aliens and humans fought side by side, but all around them was chaos and fear. Elias saw himself as a young boy watching his family's village fall to war. A voice whispered, "Can you face the pain of loss and still hold hope?" Elias clenched his fists. "I must." The vision changed, showing him a quiet moment back on Earth. He saw his daughter playing in a park, laughing without a care. The happiness was pure, but the vision shifted again, showing the park destroyed by a storm. Can you protect what you love even when the world tries to break it? Elias's eyes burned with determination. "I will protect them." The mirrors shattered and Elias found himself back in the chamber. "Good," the Shadow Keeper said. "You have faced your fears without breaking. But the trial is not over." Before Elias could speak, the chamber darkened. Shapes rose from the shadows. Creatures made of smoke and light, their eyes glowing with challenge. They moved silently but with power, closing in. Elias drew a small device from his belt, a multi-tool gifted by Earth's scientists. It hummed with energy. He did not raise a weapon, but used the tool to create light and sound, confusing the creatures. His quick thinking allowed him to escape the shadows and reach a new door that opened ahead. Behind the door was a garden under a strange purple sky. Here the shadows were gone, replaced by calm and beauty. But this peace was uneasy. The garden felt like a dream, and Elias sensed a test of his heart. There, he saw Princess Leora waiting. "Captain Voss," she said softly, "the trial shows more than fear and strength. It reveals truth." Elias stepped closer. "Your mother says the trial strips away pride. But what truth does it show you? Leora smiled faintly. That power is not always what it seems. My mother rules with strength, but the galaxy changes. Maybe it needs something new. Elias looked into her eyes and saw a mix of hope and sadness. Then perhaps humans and Virelians are not so different. Their conversation was cut short by the sudden arrival of Queen Zira herself. Her silver armor gleamed under the garden's strange light, and her voice was cold. "You speak with my daughter in my trial?" she demanded. "You forget yourself, human." Elias met her gaze firmly. "I do not forget respect, your majesty, but I believe understanding is stronger than fear." The queen's eyes narrowed and her anger grew. "You dare to undress my daughter's honor with your words. You dare to challenge the throne with your human pride." The royal guards appeared, their weapons ready. But before they could act, Elias did something unexpected. He smiled, a calm, confident smile, and gave Queen Zira a small wink. The room froze. The queen's anger faltered, replaced by shock. No one had ever dared such a gesture. To wink was a simple act on Earth, a sign of confidence, humor, or challenge. But here it was bold, almost a challenge to the queen herself. The tension in the air broke like a storm ending. Leora's eyes sparkled with surprise and something else, admiration. The queen took a deep breath and stepped back. "You are bold, human, bold enough to face the trial of shadows and bold enough to face me." She raised her hand and the shadows around them receded. "Your spirit is strong, but the trial will continue. You will face one last test. If you succeed, you will have earned your place here." Elias bowed again. "I accept, your majesty." As the queen and princess left, Elias stood alone in the garden. The stars above shone brighter now, and he felt the weight of history on his shoulders. This trial was not just for him. It was for all of humanity. He whispered to himself, "I will not fail." The doors closed behind him, and the next challenge began. Captain Elias Voss stepped forward, leaving the serene garden behind. The last test of the trial of shadows awaited him in a place deeper within the temple, where truth and illusion met, where the strongest minds were broken or made whole. The black stone corridor stretched before him, twisting and turning like a river of night. Soft whispers filled the air, voices from the past and dreams yet to come. Elias kept his steps steady, his heart calm but alert. This trial was not about weapons or power. It was about facing himself. Ahead, the Shadow Keeper awaited him once more. The ancient being's eyes gleamed with a strange light, neither harsh nor kind. "Captain Elias Voss," the Keeper said, voice like the wind through leaves. "The final part of your trial is to face your true self. You will see your deepest fears, your highest hopes, and the choices that will shape your path. Remember, only by knowing yourself can you claim honor." Elias nodded. "I am ready." The mirrors in the chamber shimmered again, and this time Elias felt himself pulled into the reflections. The room changed. Now he stood in a place that looked like Earth, but different. The sky was the same soft blue, but the cities were taller, the streets brighter. People of many kinds walked together in harmony. He saw himself walking among them, not as a soldier or captain, but as a leader who brought people together. Children smiled and old friends laughed. The world was at peace. But the vision shifted. Now Elias saw a darker Earth where fear had taken hold. The cities were quiet, empty. People hid in their homes, afraid to trust each other. Machines controlled every movement, and hope was a distant memory. Elias saw himself there too, alone, struggling to bring light to a world lost in darkness. A voice whispered softly, "Which world will you choose?" Elias's heart ached. He wanted the bright Earth, the world of peace and joy. But he knew the darker Earth was a warning, a future that could happen if hope died. He clenched his fists. "I choose to fight for the light." Suddenly, the vision changed again. He was back in the temple, but something was different. Shadows moved around him, not as enemies, but as memories. He saw his family, his friends, the people of Earth who believed in him. Their faces shone with trust and love. Then he saw Princess Leora. Her eyes were kind but determined. "You are stronger than you know," she said softly. "But strength alone will not save you. You must understand yourself and those you meet." Elias felt a warmth inside, a connection growing between him and the princess. Between humanity and Virelia. The shadows faded, and the chamber returned to its quiet glow. The Shadow Keeper smiled. "You have done well, Captain. You have faced your fears and shown your heart. Few have passed this trial, Elias bowed. Thank you. I hope to prove myself worthy of the trust placed in me. As he left the chamber, Elias thought of the queen and the princess. He wondered what trials awaited them, and how this moment would change the future. Back in the royal hall, Princess Leora awaited him. You have done well, Captain, she said, stepping forward. My mother has tested many, but few show the courage and wisdom you have. Elias smiled. Your people have much to teach us. And we too have hope to share. Leora nodded. Perhaps the galaxy needs more than just strength. It needs understanding and trust. At that moment, Queen Zira entered, her expression serious but less harsh. You have passed the trial of shadows, she said. But the true test will be the choices we make together. War is still near. Our alliances are fragile. The future is uncertain. Elias met her gaze steadily. Then let us work together to build a future where peace is stronger than fear. The Queen's eyes softened for a moment. Very well, Captain. You have earned your place at the table. But remember, trust must be earned, not given. Elias nodded. I understand. The court relaxed slightly. The tension that had filled the halls now gave way to a new feeling, hope. As the summit began, Elias found himself not just a visitor, but a part of something greater. He was a human standing among stars, ready to shine with a light that came from courage, heart, and the unbreakable spirit of his people. And somewhere in the room, Princess Leora watched him with a quiet smile, wondering if this human from Earth could be the change their galaxy needed. The grand hall was quiet now, filled only with the soft hum of distant stars and whispered conversations among the gathered cosmic leaders. Captain Elias Voss sat at a polished crystal table, the surface reflecting the lights of countless galaxies far beyond the palace walls. He was no longer just a visitor. He had become part of a delicate dance of politics, trust and hope. But as the meeting progressed, Elias found his thoughts drifting back to Princess Leora, the mysterious daughter of Queen Zira. There was something different about her. More than just a royal, she seemed like someone carrying a heavy secret. After the day's long talks ended, Elias stepped into a quiet corridor. His mind was still racing with the weight of the decisions made and the promises given. As he walked, a soft voice called him from the shadows. Captain Voss. He turned and saw Princess Leora herself standing there, her face gentle but serious. The light from the stars outside the windows framed her silver hair like a halo. I wanted to speak with you, she said quietly. Elias nodded, surprised but pleased. Of course, Princess. They walked together to a small garden courtyard, where strange purple flowers glowed softly in the cool air. The silence between them was comfortable, filled with unspoken understanding. You have done well in the trial of shadows, Leora said. My mother is a strong queen, but she rules with fear as much as power. Elias looked at her thoughtfully. I have seen that. But your courage is different. It feels freer. Leora smiled faintly. There is a reason for that. She hesitated, then continued. For years I have watched the galaxy suffer under endless wars and old rivalries. My mother believes strength alone will keep peace, but I believe something else is needed, change. Elias listened closely. Change is not easy, especially in worlds bound by tradition. No, Leora agreed. But I have a secret, Captain. I am part of a small group who want to build a new future, not just for Virelia, but for all the galaxies. We want to break the cycle of fear and conflict. Elias's eyes widened. That is brave and dangerous, Leora nodded. If my mother knew, she would stop us. But she also watches the trial closely. She sees you as a threat and a hope. Elias felt the weight of her words. Then maybe we can help each other. Leora looked hopeful. That is why I came to you. Humans have a way of seeing the world differently. Your spirit, your hope, they inspire me. They talked late into the night, sharing stories of Earth and Virelia, of dreams and fears. Elias felt a connection growing stronger, not just with Leora, but with the idea of a future where humans and aliens could work together. The next day, the court buzzed with tension. Queen Zira had summoned a meeting to discuss the fragile alliance. As Elias entered the throne room, he saw the queen seated with her usual regal power, but her eyes showed the flicker of doubt. You bring change, Captain, she said, voice steady but cold. And with change comes risk, Elias bowed. Yes, Your Majesty. But peace is worth every risk. The Queen's gaze turned to her daughter. Leora, you speak of rebellion and new ideas. Do you not fear the consequences? Princess Leora met her mother's eyes without hesitation. Mother, fear will not protect us. Only understanding will. The room fell silent. The Queen looked at her daughter with a mix of pride and frustration. Elias stepped forward. Your Majesty, the trial of shadows has shown me much. Not just about myself, but about your people. We are not so different. Queen Zira's eyes narrowed. Different, yes, but trust must be earned. Elias smiled gently. Then let us earn that trust together. Suddenly, a messenger rushed into the hall with urgent news. A nearby star system, long a trouble spot, was on the brink of collapse. If the Alliance did not act quickly, war would spread like wildfire. The Queen stood swiftly. This is the test we must face. Not in trials or words, but in action. Elias and Leora exchanged a glance, a silent promise. They would face this challenge side by side. As the council prepared to send peacekeepers and diplomats, Elias felt a deep sense of purpose. The trial was over, but the real journey was just beginning. Later, as he walked through the palace gardens, Elias found Leora waiting for him beneath the glowing flowers. Thank you, she said softly, for believing in a future where we can be more than enemies. Elias smiled. Hope is the greatest power we have. Together, they looked up at the stars, worlds full of possibilities and stories yet to be written. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, the Cosmic Queen watched, her throne no longer just a symbol of power, but the beginning of a new era. The stars twinkled quietly above Virelia Prime as the Great Council convened once more. Captain Elias Voss stood among the leaders of many worlds, each carrying the weight of their people's hopes and fears. The galaxy was at a crossroads, and the fragile peace depended on their choices. Queen Zira sat on her throne, regal and commanding, but the fire in her eyes had softened since Elias's arrival. The trial of shadows had changed much, not only for Elias but for the Queen herself. The galaxy was no longer a place ruled by fear alone, but one where hope could shine. The recent news from the troubled star system weighed heavily on the council. The threat of war still loomed, but there was also a chance for peace, a chance that no one could afford to ignore. Elias stepped forward, his voice calm but strong. We stand here not just as rulers or warriors, but as protectors of the future. Our differences have caused pain, but they also hold the keys to our strength. If we choose to work together, we can build a galaxy where every world thrives. Queen Zira's gaze met his, and for a moment the silence was deep. Then slowly she nodded. You have proven your worth, Captain, and your words carry the hope we so desperately need. Princess Leora rose from her seat, a bright light shining in her eyes. This is the moment we have waited for, she said. A chance to break old chains and create something new. Let us be brave enough to take it. The council erupted in agreement, voices joining together in a chorus of hope. As the meeting closed, Elias felt a hand touch his arm gently. He turned to see Leora smiling. Come with me, she said. They walked through the palace halls until they reached a balcony overlooking the city. Below, the crystal towers shimmered under the light of twin moons and ships sailed through the sky like silver birds. Leora looked at Elias with a quiet confidence. My mother was once a queen who ruled by strength and fear, but strength can come from kindness and trust too. Elias smiled. I believe that too. Your people are ready for a new dawn. Suddenly the sky above brightened with flashes of light. A fleet of peacekeepers from many worlds arrived, ready to help the troubled star system. Their presence was a symbol of unity, of a galaxy coming together. Elias watched the ships with hope. This is just the beginning, Leora nodded. And you, Captain, have been the spark. Days passed as the Alliance worked quickly. Diplomats, scientists, and peacekeepers joined forces, calming tensions and rebuilding trust. The once fragile star system slowly healed, becoming a shining example of what cooperation could achieve. Queen Zira visited Elias one evening in the royal chambers. Her silver hair shimmered in the soft light, and her eyes held a rare softness. You have changed much, Captain Voss, she said quietly. Not just in my court, but in my heart. Elias bowed respectfully. Your Majesty, it is your courage to listen and to change that has made this possible. The queen smiled faintly. Perhaps the greatest power is the power to grow. Later, Elias found himself standing beside Princess Leora in the great hall. The stars outside seemed to sparkle brighter, as if celebrating the new hope born that day. "We have a long journey ahead," Leora said, "but now we walk it together." Elias looked up at the vast galaxy beyond the windows. "Together we can reach the stars," and so, the human captain and the cosmic princess stood side by side, ready to lead their peoples into a future where respect, courage, and hope shone brighter than any star. The cosmic queen's throne was no longer a symbol of fear. It was the foundation of a new era. The galaxy was watching, and for the first time, the stars smiled back.